Hello once again to all our listeners and welcome to the second episode of the IVSA Kelantan podcast program. Our speaker for today is Dr. Muhammad Luqman bin Nordin, who will be talking about emerging veterinary drugs. Dr. Luqman is from Johor but is currently residing in Kuala Nerus, Terengganu. In 2014, he graduated from University Malaysia Kelantan with a degree in veterinary medicine. He then obtained a Master's of Veterinary Sciences in the field of veterinary pharmacology and toxicology from University Putra Malaysia. Currently, Dr. Luqman is pursuing his PhD in drugs and vaccine technologies at University Kebangsaan Malaysia. He is also a lecturer at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, UMK, in clinical pharmacology, toxicology, and critical care. Welcome, Dr. Luqman.
Welcome. Thank you, lady.
I think it's important for us to understand how self-sufficient Malaysia is in terms of veterinary drugs. So, does Malaysia still rely heavily on imported products when it comes to veterinary drugs?
Thank you to the lady. Assalamualaikum and very good day to everyone. First and foremost, I would like to give my special thanks to the IVSA for inviting me. Okay. And then I want to make a disclaimer first. This is my personal view, just to the best of my knowledge, especially pertaining to the drugs rules and regulation. I may not the best person to talk about veterinary drugs in Malaysia because I'm an academician and scientist. But however, I try my very best to give an input within my capacity. Of course, we still rely on an imported products, especially for the veterinary users. In addition, in fact, most of the pharmaceutical company mostly interest to invest on the human sector rather than veterinary medicine.
So, how do you think the laws in Malaysia affect this in terms of bringing in imported products and registration and use of the veterinary drugs?
Oh, actually, when we talk about the drugs, is very complex. When we talk about drugs, rule and regulation is involved with many sectors. So it's not just about veterinary medicine; it's also involved in human sector, and we also bound with the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency (NPRA) under Ministry of Health Malaysia. Okay, we have to know that currently all veterinary related products need to be registered under National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency (NPRA) under Ministry of Health Malaysia, under Sales of Drug Act 1952 and Control of Drug and Cosmetic Regulation 1984. A product as defined in regulations means that a drugs in any dosage form or otherwise for the use wholly or mainly by being administered to the one or more animals for a medicinal purposes. Okay, a drug to be used as ingredient of a preparation for a medicinal purpose and cosmetics. So to the best of my knowledge, to that we don't have the capacity to develop or create our own drugs. Mostly we rely on imported products.
I see. Let's proceed to the topic of emerging drugs. For new drugs, can you describe how drug effectiveness is normally tested and what is the protocol to determine if a drug is working well?
Actually, this is a long story and procedure. To create drugs, it's really time consuming and involve a huge amount of money. So in brief, usually all drugs or compound or substance need to be investigated and need to be studied in vitro. First line, usually in vitro involving tissue culture, and then proceed to the animal study, and then in the end, the clinical trials, meaning that they are tested on the human. Don't forget about the safety of the drugs to the patient. It is equally important as the effectiveness. So meaning that even the drug is effective, but it is not safe, the drug cannot be launched.
I will pass the floor to Ada. She'll be asking the next question.
Moving on to the next question. In your opinion, what do you think about the diseases that don't have any cure yet?
So when we talk about disease that does not have a cure, definitely disease that derive or come from the virus mostly. Current one is from coronavirus. Okay, even COVID for human and animal also can be affected by the coronavirus species. For example, for the chicken, we have a disease called infectious bronchitis caused by coronavirus, but specifically affect the chicken and also turkey. And then we also have a disease that affect the cats, also from the coronavirus, feline infectious peritonitis. Until now, we don't have a really specific treatment for that disease. Usually, we treat it symptomatically.
When we're talking about the diseases, like what are the diseases that are associated with these new veterinary drugs? Like, can you give us some example for the new veterinary drugs?
Okay, actually, right, when we talk about newest veterinary drugs in the country right now, uh, we currently don't have a new antibiotics. We
I
also have
see.
limited data about safetiness and also its efficacy. We don't have a new antibiotics drug available for the veterinary medicine. So perhaps the latest drug that available is NSAID group, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory groups named hydrocortisone. All right. To the best of my knowledge, it's still not available in Malaysia market. We make awareness about the antimicrobial resistance, so on and so forth, right? Because microbe may evolve more faster than development of drugs. Now currently we have a problem, superbugs, superbug syndrome, so on and so forth. This is very challenging issue that we are facing right now because we don't have many drugs, but yet we have more diseases than the drugs itself, meaning that microbes may evolve more faster than the development of the drugs. Like I said before, because perhaps the development of drug is not easy. Racosib is the non-antimicrobial drug. It is a type of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. It has the anti-inflammatory analgesic effects. Okay. Also antipyrexics. Mostly it been used for the dogs with osteoarthritis and to reduce a pain. To date, I haven't seen this drug in Malaysia, but it have been registered according to the Food and Drugs Administration's FDA.
This is our last question for today. We all know that ivermectin is famous nowadays due to COVID-19 pandemic. And why do you think so? And what are the veterinarian's scope in educating the public in this matter?
Okay, this is a very hot topic when we talk about ivermectin. Actually, ivermectin become famous when it has been proven in several recent laboratory lab work at the tissue culture level, which show that drugs able to inhibit viral multiplication up to 5,000 times in 48 hours with a single treatment, and it been published in a few journals. You must know that it must be given at a higher dose than a normal dose. And then when you give a higher dose than the normal dose, and then when you want to translate into the animal use, it is not appropriate. And then because the study was conducted solely at the tissue culture level and at the microgram quantity, meaning that it's very small. High dose of ivermectin are strongly discouraged in the normal treatment of animals by veterinarian because they can produce toxicity, drug resistance, and a serious damage to the central nervous system. So, in my point of view, ivermectin cannot be used to treat or prevent virus infection, even in animal. And in addition, and several dogs, for example, breeds collies, Shetland sheepdogs, and their hybrid are extremely susceptible to the ivermectin. This is due to the mutation in the MDRA gene, which cause ivermectin toxicity to be very easy. And as a result, that's why in veterinary medicine, the use of ivermectin as antiviral is dismissed. Okay, and our patient safety is extremely important. All right, and then in my point of view, And actually, I already wrote an article to this newspaper and already been published prior announcement from the Minister of Health Malaysia saying that ivermectin actually doesn't work for the COVID-19 patients. And then you have to know what is ivermectin. Ivermectin is a microcycline that belongs to the microcyclic group of drugs such as doramectin, selamectin, and milbemycin is among the group of microcycline utilized by the veterinarian in the veterinary sector. Beside ivermectin, it is in the same group, meaning that it has the same mode of action. FDA has approved the drug used for the animals, including farm animals such as cattle and goat, as an anti-parasitic medicine to treat parasitic infestation such as tick, mites, lice, meaning that ectoparasite and also endoparasite involving worms such as worm and helminths. In addition, it also can be used to treat heartworm diseases in the dogs. Higher dose, it can cause toxicity to the animal. So in this way, we don't see the ivermectin can become antiviral to treat a COVID in the viral. So I still believe that ivermectin is an anti-parasite. It works against the parasite, not a virus.
Do you think like there are some like veterinarians scope into educating the public through this matter? Like a doctor did wrote an article, right?
Yes.
And what are the title of the article?
The title, the write-up is in Bahasa and it be published in the Cosmo. The title is Usah Melulu Menggunakan Ivermectin. Because the thing is, public think that ivermectin works against COVID-19 and then they purchase the ivermectin that be used in animal through online platform, and it is very dangerous. Okay, because they believe that ivermectin works as a prophylactics against COVID. But interestingly, the published journal that published the data about the effectiveness of ivermectin against COVID has been drawn out.
I see. Thank you, doctor. To wrap things up for this episode, veterinary drugs, as we know, it involves like meticulous research and development, and also specialized people and teams, and also takes a very long time.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah, and the new like even if we have new emerging drugs that can have new ways of mitigating diseases to its patient, and it also can bring the country to new heights. But for this, we need lots of data and also lots of research. Thank you, Dr. Luqman, for these wonderful insights. And also, thank you, Ashley. And also, many, many thanks to the listeners.
I would like to thanks to the audience and also thank to IVSA for inviting me for these sessions. I hope I can give a little bit insight and input, and I hope it benefits to the audience.
So, once again, thank you, Doctor, and have a good day, everyone.